quick. They grow up so quick. It's 24 days of pure
24 days
magic.
is such a long time. And it all just becomes a bit of a social media fad and less about the magic of Christmas.
And their faces in the morning are worth every single piece of elf effort.
Christmas is getting closer, and we have had reports that a number of elves have begun to appear in family homes. It's a phenomenon that started in America, and now the elf on the shelf has started turning up in the UK. Now, they're said to be getting up to lots of mischief, Mr. Shephard, and reporting back to the North Pole every night on children's behaviour.
Yeah, and it appears they've made their way into the Good Morning Britain studios.
Look at
That's them in the makeup room overnight.
Whose lipstick is that? They won't be happy.
That looks incriminating. That's a better moustache than I've got at the minute. And here's one of an elf apparently directing. Not doing too bad a job, considering...
Well, the show's really good today,
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yes. Wow. Not even got opposable thumbs. But some parents are split over, and of course our director has, before I get into any kind of trouble. Now, parents are split over whether the elves are a help or a hindrance, though. And we're joined by mum of three and big elf lover, Jade Samplakos. Samplakos, OK. And Jess Jones, who has a 5-year-old daughter, Sophia, and another baby on the way, and doesn't really want elves in her home either. You don't need any more, do you, as far as you're concerned?
No.
How did you come to find elves turning up in your home and welcome them in?
Just on Pinterest, we saw them 7 years ago, and I just thought, wow, this is a really, really good initiative. And so we invited the elves in. They arrive on the 1st of December, and they leave at Christmas Eve when Father Christmas drops off the children's presents. He takes the elves with them.
And as we've seen with the elves that have visited our studios recently, they get up to a fair bit of mischief. What happens in your house?
They've wrapped the sofa before. They've filled the car with balloons, ready for the school run. They do get up to mischief.
Oh, look, there's one cropped up. And the idea is that when you go to bed at night, they're in one place, and then when you get up in the morning, they've moved, haven't
Well,
they?
when the children are asleep, they fly back to the North Pole and they report to Father Christmas as to whether they've been naughty or nice. And then if they've been naughty, they're not allowed back. Father Christmas keeps them. And if they've been nice, they'll come back and up to mischief.
And clearly you've welcomed them into your home. Jess, you're not so keen on having the elves in.
No, I just think there's so much work to do in December anyway, between advent calendars and feeding the children, getting them to school and getting to work on time, that it just seems like too much effort to invite another guest in throughout the whole of December. And I just think it's so much effort for...
But isn't Christmas about...
I think Christmas is
sort of
magical. It's my absolute favourite time of the year. I don't want to sound like a Grinch. I absolutely adore it. But I just think there's so much pressure for parents to do so much to make it magical. This just adds even more pressure.
It's 24 days of seeing magic in your children's eyes, from them leaving a gold coin under their pillow. It's as, you know, it can be so simple.
Effort.
Some elves just sit on the shelf. You know, some elves that are in a really busy houses, they don't have time to move around. You know, they do just sit on the shelf and leave the advent chocolate. You know,
I think the biggest issue for me is that they put so much pressure, and it almost becomes less about the children and more about parents competing with how elaborate and how great we can make it. And I just think, really, and it all just becomes a bit of a social media fad and less about the magic of Christmas. And
Well,
that
quite a
kind
few
of moves away
people,
from
quite a few
it.
people getting in touch. Kerry Ann, Nicola, Jackie, all suggesting that they invited the elves in the one year, but the kids weren't particularly comfortable with the elves being in the house.
We have it in my house, and my son, Billy, finds it a bit. Darcy loves it, but
So Darcy
Billy finds
loves it,
it a
but
little
Billy
bit
loves
creepy.
it.
Won't allow them to go anywhere up near the bedrooms. They have to, you know,
Steer
stay
clear of that area.
downstairs.
What do you say to people that are struggling
each
with
to their own. You know, an elf doesn't have to be invited into every home. It doesn't make Christmas any more magical or any less magical. But the magic on your children's faces when they do love the elf is...
I think we've got a picture of your kids, Jade, this morning, seeing what the elves had done.
Oh.
Some video footage spotting where the elves have ended up.
Crikey, I mean, it's beautiful. You're well underway, aren't you? Look at that.
In them.
Oh.
Nick, send you some chocolate.
And actually, there's something here as well. Angela Peterson says on Facebook, great memories for the children. Really great memories.
We
that
didn't
they're
have it when
creating
we
for
were
the children.
kids, and Christmas is still my favourite time of the year, and it's still so magical and so exciting. It just feels like 24 days of a lot of
I feel like Honey would not be able to tell me what she got last year from Santa, but she can tell me what our elves got up to.
What What do your kids say, though, when perhaps other children at school have had elves
this
visit
is one of
and
my
yours
issues,
haven't?
because I physically don't have the time. I work full time, I write a blog, I'm pregnant, I have a 5-year-old. Trying to get up and make Cocoa Pops and get them to school is manic in my house. So it is a lot of pressure, because then I think I don't want my child to be the one who's missing out. I don't want her to go to school and be like, I'm the only one whose elves don't come to our house. But it just seems like added pressure, and there's just so much pressure to make it magical anyway. And it is, even with the simple things that we had as children.
But it's magic. They grow up so quick. It's 24 days of pure
24 days
magic.
is such a long time. It is such a long time to make
It can
such
be
a big
so
effort.
easy, and their faces in the morning are worth every single piece of elf effort.
But she loves it just with tinsel on a Christmas tree, and I think it almost takes away part of the whole, you know, Santa's coming on Christmas Eve. We don't need any other guests. He's the main guest,
because
and I don't want to take that away from
my
it.
daughter's 8. We do use them for behaviour.
So, and that's part of
policing the behaviour
yes,
as well?
Yes, and they don't come. They're on strike. If they, you know...
Interesting, if they're not
Crikey.
behaving
If they
well.
don't behave, the elf is on
a
strike.
lot of the elves that I've seen are naughty, so doesn't that encourage the kids to be a bit naughty?
No, because they think it's hilarious.
I think you would have needed more than an elf to get me to behave at Christmas. My mum would have loved
There's
to
an
have
elf
some
in your
elves.
ear right now telling you to
is.
get on with it.
Thank you very much for coming in, Jane and Jess. Enjoy Christmas, however you celebrate it. Enjoy it with your elves, or you choose not to as well.
Yeah.